Hello, my name's James and happy holidays to each and every one of you. Coming up is a workshop that we've previously uploaded on this channel, but when we did, I made an error when I was dealing with some of the music and I lost half of the audio. It's an introduction on how to use your first light with the wonderful Zoe in studio. So if you've bought your first flash strobe light, or you've got one in the corner of your studio or your home gathering dust and you're unsure on how to use it, this is the perfect workshop to take you right back to basics and get you using that flashlight. And we also showcase how you can make a white wall look white, grey and black just by using a single light in this 10-minute workshop. It's super simple, super easy. Every Monday, there will be a new lighting tutorial going into 2026 on this channel. So subscribe, like, say nice things, say positive comments, and download your free posing guide from nofussmust.com to support the channel today. But for right now, let's take you back in time and back to the studio with the wonderful Zoe as we showcase flash lighting basics. Hello, my name's James. I'm a portrait photographer from Portsmouth in the UK. You've probably not heard of me. Welcome to my studio here and this tutorial, which is showing you how to take control of your portraits by using flash. For the seminar today, we've invited Zoe back. Say hi to everyone, Zoe.
Hi everyone.
Yeah, Zoe has used her 2 words for the entire seminar there. She can't say another one. We're going to be looking at how and why we use flash in portraits. We're going to take you through some really simple settings that you can implement into your camera to elevate your portraits and take them to the next level. Now, first of all, if we're not using flash in a portrait, we need to strip everything back down and see how things look without flash. Then we're going to add flash in and see how that affects the portrait. In this room at the moment, there is light bouncing around everywhere. We've got an LED light here, which is lighting me. You can have a look at that now if you like. There it is, that's cool. We've got another LED light in here, providing a little bit of fill light on the side for when I go into the studio. We've got a huge window at the back of the studio that's streaming natural daylight in. We've got natural daylight coming in off of here. We've got all of this light bouncing around. So there is some illumination here on Zoe where she stood in the studio. And if we were to take a portrait of her now, we're going to get all of that mixed lighting together, merging together to create a single portrait. And the simplest way that we can set up the camera, as I nearly lose it, there we go. The simplest way that we can set up the camera is by adjusting it and putting it on P. Can you see the P on there on the mode? P stands for program, I think, or Pratt, which is what I call it, Pratt mode, so that even a Pratt could use this. I'm going to cut all of that. P stands for program. I think we're going to need to check that. I've set the ISO here to auto, so the camera is going to control everything that's coming through the lens into the back to create the exposure. So the camera is deciding what ISO to set, what aperture to set, and what shutter speed to set. So it's making it really simple for me to take this portrait. Come in here. We're doing fitness portraits with Zoe today. What did you say you were wearing? Are these, is it jerts?
Skort.
Skort. It's a skort. It's a new term I've learned today. This is a skort, half skirt, well, actually a whole skirt and whole shorts. I think that's probably the best way to do it. There we go. We're shooting today on a 24 to 105 f4 lens, so the camera is making decisions about aperture as well, and it can choose if it wishes to open up as wide as it can to f4. But let's just see what decisions the camera makes when we set it on P mode with all of this light bouncing around the room here. Simple pose there for me, just begin with Zoe. 3, 2, 1, and looking in there. Now it chose an ISO of 1000. It chose a shutter speed of an 80th of a second, which is just above where I would say the minimum you want to be hand holding for portraits on a longer lens. Wide angle lenses have less shake. I would say around about 1/60th of a second is the minimum you want to be holding it there. But this one chose 1/80th and f4 at the widest possible aperture. And if we have a look at the image here, we can see that all of the light is bouncing around the studio here. We've got some hair light in the background, but there's a general sort of yellow-green cast to the whole picture. Now we could adjust the white balance, but ultimately we're working with all sorts of different color temperatures of the light bouncing around the room here. As I said, from the LED light to the fluorescent tubes in the ceiling to the daylight streaming in from outside, and all of the surfaces that light is bouncing off, all of the white walls and the white floor and the parts of the gray floor here. They're all going to have different color temperatures, and they're all going to give us a different color throughout the image, which gives it that overall sort of muddy look where the colors look inconsistent and it doesn't look professional. That's why we use a flash. We use the flash so that we can control the light, and I'm a bit of a control freak. I like controlling stuff. We're going to control the light with a flash here. The flash unit that we're going to be using, if we come in nice and close here, is the Elinchrom 3. It's one of the wireless range. There's an Elinchrom 1, Elinchrom 3, Elinchrom 5. This one's right in the middle of the range, and we're using an octabox on it there. An octabox that I've put on upside down, just to prove that they can be put on either way. It doesn't matter unless you're a brand ambassador like I am, in which case you probably should have put it on the right way. We're going to turn the light on here. And at the back here, you'll see there's a touchscreen panel, and you can start adjusting the light up or down from there. We can go all the way up to 5.3 and all the way down to 0.1. It's a decimal scale. So with your normal speed lights, your Canon speed lights, for example, the increments are going to be going up on 1/3 of a stop all the way through. These ones are decimalized, so they're a little bit more refined, so you can go up 0.1 of a stop every time. We're going to be choosing a nice high power outlet there, because I want to control all of the light in this room, and I can only do that with a really, really powerful flash. If I shoot this image here with just a little bit of flash coming out, it's going to mix in with all of the ambient light in the room and just add to that muddy mess. If I use a powerful flash, it's going to overpower all of the other lights in the room. And we can showcase that by taking a shot without the flash to begin with. So I'm going to change the settings on my camera from P to M. I'm going to go straight into manual mode, which gives me full control over everything coming through the camera here. We're going to shift our ISO to ISO 100. That's the first change we're going to make, which is the lowest ISO we can use, which means that the sensor in the camera is less sensitive to light, and it's going to be less sensitive to all of the ambient light coming through the room. I'm going to choose a nice small aperture, so we're going to move our aperture all the way up to f16. I'm just going to go for a really, really high detail portrait here with a long focal length going all the way through, so that hopefully everything coming through the image is nice and sharp. And the shutter speed I'm going to be using is 1/160th of a second. We're not going to move into high speed flash in this workshop. We're just going to use the standard shutter speed sync. 1/160th of a second should be good enough for this shot. Now, if we take a shot of Zoe here, she does a pose here with these settings, 3, 2, 1, go. We'll see that without a transmitter, that image has come back completely black, which is exactly what we wanted. What this means is that all of this light in this room is not affecting the exposure on the back of the camera. So that literally the only light in this room that is affecting this shot, or will be affecting the shot, is the light that will come out of that flash once I set it to sync with my camera. The way I'm going to set it to sync with my camera is to use the Elinchrom Skyport transmitter. I'm just going to turn that on. And the beautiful thing about these things is that if I do have a multi-light setup, I can control them all from the top of my camera rather than having to go from one light to the next. It comes up there. My Elinchrom has come up right up on there. That's the one up there, the Elinchrom 3. It's recognized it. It can see it in the room. And if I attach it to the top of my camera, I know now that that's going to flash, and I'm just going to set off a flash there just to test it. It's going to flash every time I hit the shutter. So this time we're going to take the portrait with the same settings, so we know that everything is black in this room except for the flash coming out of our flash unit. And let's just see what sort of shot we get here from Zoe. I'm just going to make some small changes to the light, angle it down very, very slightly, and move it just slightly closer towards her there. Little pose here for me, Zoe, nice and simple, looking straight towards me in 3, 2, 1, go. Let's just see how that looks there. Great shot, great exposure. Bang. Right in there. Now, I know there are going to be people watching this going, well, he hasn't used a light meter, he doesn't know what he's doing. Correct, you're right. But what we're going to do in this instance is we're going to show you how you can do this without using a light meter. You're going to come in here, having a look at the histogram here. The peaks in this histogram are just more in this sort of shadow areas there where it's picking up the dark at the top and obviously the grey in the background. That could do with shifting into the middle. I want all of those tones to be roughly in the middle there. So I think it needs to come by about another stop. The easiest way for me to do that is I'm just going to increase the power of the light, and we're going to do that through the transmitter on the back of the camera here and just wind it up roughly a full stop there. Same pose there for me, Zoe. Come a little closer to me here. That's lovely. Same pose there for me, Zoe. In 3, 2, 1, go. Let's just see what a difference a stop makes. There you go, that's what a difference a stop makes. I'm going to get more tonality through the skin, really, really simple shot and a simple control of the light. Now we can start to use this light to change the overall feel of the image. The first thing we can do is we can ask Zoe to come all the way to the back of the room, all the way against the white backdrop there. And now I'm going to mimic what she's done there by moving the light the same distance. So the light now, same distance as it was away in the previous portrait. What it also means is this light is now closer to that white backdrop. And what we should achieve here, instead of the grey backdrop that we saw in the previous picture, is a whiter backdrop in this picture here, with, crucially, the same skin tones, all at the same settings. Taking the shot in here, coming nice and close so we can see this. In 3, 2, 1, go. Beautiful. Let's have a look at that. There we go, much brighter backdrop on this one here, just by moving that light and moving our subject closer to the backdrop. The same is true if we move away from the backdrop. So we're going to bring you right away from the backdrop here. Come towards me. Round about there's perfect. I'm quite lucky I've got a little bit of space here in this studio. Now she's further back off the backdrop here. Come closer to me, Zoe. That's lovely, just there. Similar pose, try and change up the pose just a little bit on this one there for me if we can on this one. So something a little bit different. Looking towards me in 3, 2, 1, go. And now we should have a darker grey backdrop. There we go, that's even darker than the first one that we had. And if we want to go even darker, we need even less light coming out from this to come onto the backdrop. Now we could go further back, but I know that not everyone's blessed with this amount of space. The simplest thing to do is just to turn the light away from Zoe there and just move it just a little bit closer towards her, okay? This is a technique known as feathering, and you can learn more about feathering through our channel, nofussmus.com, or other channels on this YouTube channel, other videos on this YouTube channel even. Zoe's gonna look towards me here, nice simple pose, looking towards me, 3, 2, 1, go. And here we should have an almost low-key portrait with beautiful light coming across. So without changing a background, without changing a light, without changing a modifier, we've moved with a single light setup to be able to create 3 completely different images just by changing the direction and the placement of the light within the frame. Once you've set up your settings and once they're locked in and once you know you're exposing correctly with your light, you can then spend time concentrating on working with your model, establishing a connection, experimenting and creating dynamic images. And that's how you help take your photography to the next level. Zoe, have you had fun in today's workshop? Like and subscribe, all the best.